venture capital, private equity. Those are something you look to much later in your journey. You're at Series A and B, like you're pretty much on that path to that 100 million. It's the early part, getting from the friends and family to the A. And that's what we're talking about. And that doesn't have to look traditional. Yeah, you need high wealth individuals in that part between friends and family and Series A. Now we have different ways of getting there. It could be one lead, it could be a bunch of high wealth individuals and somebody managing their money for them. There's also accelerators. So accelerating meaning you've already got something, maybe prototype, and it's taking some of that financial pressure off of you to get you to that next level. An incubator is a little further along in that your idea is ready to ideate. It just needs a place in which to grow, and you need resources to learn about these things. How do I build the business model? What does it mean when I raise funding? Well, what is basic accounting? It's much more rudimentary and elementary educational resources in addition to access to other resources, grants, and then the whole crowd fund. If you're a super TikTok star and you've got 1 million followers, guess what? You've got 1 million people that might send you $10, $20, $30, $100, right?
Yeah, I think one of the really great things about the last 15 years is this funded production run, because it really proves your product has appeal and it's a low risk for everyone involved. So you create that prototype, you get that prototype out there, you get that validity on your concept. But the crowdfunding, there are still things you need to know. You need to know who is actually going to do the manufacturing run for you. You have to establish that relationship. You have to have the terms set up. You have to understand the cost. But once that's set up, you say, hey, it's going to cost $300,000 for us to make X number of units of this product. And therefore, we're going to sell that X number of units of this product and prove the market's there. And we're going to pay for the run with the pre-sales of the product. I think that's amazing. Like that is such an leveling the playing field, because that's where a lot of people actually get hung up, is that they want to do their first like big run, which is going to be like $300,000 or $500,000. And $500,000, in my experience, is the hardest number to raise. Like it's too big for you to get a bank loan with no collaterals. If you don't have something that you can put up to guarantee the loan, you're not going to get a bank loan. But it's too small for a lot of family offices. It's definitely too small for anyone who participates in like a post Series A type of round. Like they'll say, our smallest check is $2 million. Like, well, you don't need $2 million. You need $275,000 to do your first production run, and giving away your whole company to get $275,000 because the only way you know to raise $275,000 is to raise a whole $2 million. Like it kills a lot of companies. It kills a lot of their momentum. If you aren't a high net worth individual of your own, or you're not well connected, it can be really hard to go from a very regional product to a national product. And it's because of trying to raise $500,000. A lot of times I tell people to bootstrap, stay at their regional level, strengthen their home market. And then like, I call it putting pennies in a jar, but just save your money until you are at least halfway to that big production run. Don't make a run for it prematurely, because you also need to be able to still pay your core staff. You need to still be able to retreat back to your home base. That's where I like to coach people to stay, to establish that home base, to establish that home market, to establish that core team. And that's like a base camp on Everest. Like you can always come back to base camp and try again. But if you haven't even established a base camp, there's no point where you can go back and be like, oh, wait, well, I'm back at my safe spot. And I'm going to push off from here again.
I think it's often because of the way that we think how business is being done today and investment is being done today and raising money is being done today, right? And it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more successful if you don't do it that way.
But definitely you get to stay in your own company longer. Like, what is your goal here? Do you still work in this company in 10 years? A lot of times people will come to us and they'll say, I really like my idea. I just want to quit my day job. If they just want to quit their day job, that is so approachable. Like putting together a plan from you do this 10% of your time, do you do this 100% of your time, and you haven't lowered your lifestyle and you haven't given up your safety and security, you've just quit your day job, you've made your food idea or your business idea, you've made that your day job, totally a doable thing. When people say, I have no connections, I'm not wealthy, I'm starting literally from square zero, and I'd like this to be $1 billion company in 2 years, they're like, okay.
Yeah, let's
talk about what is likely. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just not very likely. And so big dreamers dream big. That's totally fine. I don't want to rain on your parade, but I also want you to understand, like, this is what we're up against. You need to overcome 17 things to accomplish this. So like, how are we going to systematically go through and overcome those 17 things?